Hello everyone. Since getting my 6th level 100 a couple of weeks ago, I thought now would be a good time to do another character overview. This time I will show all 6 characters in action, as well as briefly going over guns, armour and skill loadout. Starting with my oldest level 100. Main gun, black proposition, used for bossing. Crowd controlling gun, Hicks 3100. Black Trailblazer for pistol. I've put biosynthesis on that. Works quite well. Armour setup, hard plate and Medusa for resistance. Titan and more Titan for speed and reload buffs. Skill set, quite simple at the moment. Heavy gear so I can use all my very heavy equipment. Hold the line for damage dealing. Critical shot for more damage dealing. 10 body armor expert. It's enough to max resistances with my armor. 1 die another day. Must have for all heavies in my opinion. 20 tough body. Usually heavies will go with 25, but really I think 20 is enough for me. 2 in-field supplies. Infinite ammo for Hicks 3100, so perfect for crowd controlling. As you can see in game here, the black proposition is very good for bossing. Just activate, hold the line, camp somewhere and shoot at boss. Occasionally you will have to move out of the way, but you can have hold the line operating at full strength most of the time. Black Trailblazer, very effective on packed crowds, especially with hold the line, massive P.S on it. Takes care of zombies very easily. The Hicks 3100, very good for charging around the place, destroying stuff in the way such as zombies, walls and so on. Good on egg clusters like that. And basically just a useful all-round gun. It is also quite usable for bossing, as seen on these loader bots and that zombie mech. Currently only 25% base cores, but it's enough. Now on to the medic. Main bossing gun, Black Hornet. Crowd control, Black Jagged Faust. Trailblazer as per usual. Armour set, mostly Titan for the speed, health buff, reload buff, damage buff, and Medusa vest, which takes care of my toxic resistance very nicely. On to skill set. I'm probably going to work on this soon after I've cored my guns a little more to get capacity on the Jagged Faust. I'll get a bit of field supply and so on, but currently Biobomb, Medkit, 20 to 25 is quite enough for either. 5 in fast reload. Was useful when the Hornet still had a 50 clip, but I'll get rid of that soon. 15 fast movement. I prefer to have my medics fairly quick, both for dodging things and getting medical help to others faster. Critical shot, must have if you want your medic to do significant damage. Otherwise you will have to rely on others to kill bosses if you want them to die quickly. One in Final Farewell. I don't actually die very much these days, but in Apocalypse it can be helpful, and if for some reason I do go down in Nightmare, might as well leave some kits for the next guy. As you can see, the Jagged Faust is taking care of these mobs quite easily. I've put enlarged on it. That does seem to make quite a big difference for mobbing, because otherwise the explosions are rather small and localized and have a habit of missing some zombies to the edges of the group. The Black Hornet, as you can see, it destroyed that regurgitator pack in only a couple of seconds, but it is highly effective on larger zombies as well. On to the second medic. This one is a suicide medic, almost up to 10,000 deaths. Some people have more, I guess, but I prefer only to die when there is some point doing so, such as getting medical help to a teammate who needs it. The rest of the time it's more useful to be actually killing zombies. So, main gun, Black Luftplatzen. It is somewhat of an all-purpose gun. Not the best for bossing, but it does work for that. Another Black Trailblazer, sadly not grade 10. Secondary gun later will be a Trident, however at the moment I'm using Zerfallen. It works fairly well with a suicide medic. You can shoot, die, reload, get up, shoot again, and repeat. Armour, Graphene Hat. Some people go, oh no, why did you call red graphene? But I'm a suicide medic, so in terms of bonuses it's as good as black. In terms of resistance, I don't really look for that too much. Parasist Vest has its own resuscitating bonus. I've put Fortified on that, as well as the gloves and pants though, so I don't get one shot by bosses when I'm actually trying to stay alive. Skills, 25 medkit. I am a medic after all, specifically a support medic type. Revive. Often when people think suicide medic, they would expect recovery time, but actually the revive skill multiplies with resuscitating augment, which in fact helps you revive faster than if you used recovery time skill. Plus this one is actually useful to your teammate, so there's that. 25 Final Farewell, lots of free medkits when I die. 25 Fast Movement, this is the only character I have and ever will have 25 Fast Movement on, but I might as well have one very fast character. Critical Shot, Fast Reload, basically just putting spare skill points out there. In-game demonstration, you can see the Black Luft is doing a little damage to that boss while the other players kill it with their buffed up Hornets and Sublights and 3100. And there I am dropping dead. Lots of medkits which nobody's picking up yet, so I go over, revive the next guy. Then there's no kits, so die again. Now he's got medkits. The life of a suicide medic. Or should I say the lack of life of a suicide medic. Showing these are fallen a bit, can actually go through that door on onslaught, and it does a pretty good job of getting rid of packed mobs like that. And back to the dying to heal other people routine. Moving onwards to my first assault. This is in fact the first gun I maxed out to 12 grade, 4 slot, 10 base stat cores. It's my black shock field. Still one of my favourite guns. Black field orbits, extremely good crowd controller. I put capacity on it because I really don't like reloads. And yet another black trailblazer. I actually crafted that one a while ago. All armour here is maxed out at 12 grades, 3 slots. This was the first character I completed that on. I don't have maxed resistance, but I do have maxed physical resistance and quite good enough on the other two. Skills, adrenaline, killing spree, critical shot, basically all must have for damage dealing assaults. Also got 10 in deadly force because I had a few spare skill points. 15 body armor expert. I took it down to that because it was enough for 99% physical resistance, and the other two are quite alright at mid 90%. Stuck a bit of skill points in fast movement and reload because why not? As well as the 1 in stim shot. Again, I think that's a must-have skill point for assaults. Get that little bit extra health when you most need it. On to the in-game demonstration. Every assault's favourite map, usually zombie pods. And the field is destroying everything. On to the boss room, and everyone's least favourite boss, the Dark Minion Savage Necrosis. But less Dark Minion, more Dead Minion, as the shock field utterly destroys it. Moving on to my second assault, primary crowd controller is a Lone Star. It's a fairly low level gun, but with enough damage buffs, it actually takes care of nightmarish zombies very well. Sniper, XS 300. Probably second best to Hornet, but in my opinion it's very close tie. And it certainly gets rid of bosses, no problem at all. Sadly no black trailblazer on this one, not even a red one with 3 slots, but no matter. I'll get to that one day. The armour set, pretty lame compared to the rest of my characters, but Titan hat for damage, power assist vest for trying to run away faster. Best pieces of armour here are the Titan gloves and dragonfly pants, and some half decent black Titan boots. Here you can see the typical damage only assault, not even trying to reload or run away quickly, just using adrenaline, deadly force, killing spree, critical shot, in an attempt to kill things before they kill it. Works well enough if you know how to use it. Here you can see the Lone Star in Nightmare Vaccine, probably my favourite map for blowing up stuff with a rocket launcher. I do tend to get hit fairly often, but biosynthesis on the Lone Star corrects the loss of health fairly quickly. As you can see here where I got hit on the way in the lab. Just shoot at a big crowd for a few seconds and the health bar goes up very quickly. collecting the vaccine out to the boss, switching to sniper, and it kills devastators very quickly. Moving on to my final level 100, I leveled this up for the last time just a couple of weeks ago. This one, main gun, Easter Edition Black Mixmaster. Another one of those augments that people look at and go, why did you skeletonize it? Sometimes they're more rude about it. Anyway, I consider it a loss of one augment slot. Fair trade for 25 skill points that I no longer need in heavy gear. Black Mustang. Actually quite useful since they buffed the reload again, which fixes up how it was after the reload cap. Quite good for general crowd controlling. And this character will use the Zerfallen as second primary. Sometime in the future I'll core it to grade 12 and add one base core. That'll give it 3 clip and max out the reloading time to be as little as possible. Should be about 2.8 to 3 seconds. Armour set, hard plate hat for the health buff, also for resistance. Graphene vest, again mostly for the health buff, but the movement buff and health regen buff also quite useful. Bronson gloves, I'm sure everybody wants a pair of Bronson gloves, or not, but in this case the heat resistance on these is enough to max out my heat stat, or at least it will be when I've finished coring my other armour. Titan pants, again for the health buff. It's the only piece I don't have black yet, although I kind of do, but troll grade. Black Titan boots, go figure, I found 2 of those at grade 10. Oh well, can't complain, at least I've got one to use. On to skills, these are not yet completed. I had that back before I had a tissue repair vest, so I could make use of the 5 health a second from Black Pants collection, which does not work unless you have another source of health. I wonder when they are going to fix that. Anyway, hold the line. Not what you expect first on a primarily tanking based heavy, but I find it is more useful to kill things than to simply get hit by them. Toughness, tough body, body armor expert. I will be able to drop a few points from that later, as well as 5 more skill points from Augment Reward 15, so I will get both of these up to 25. That can go down to 19. I can probably take a couple out of that. Once I've cored a few grades onto pants and boots, I can get rid of that. I may need another point or 2 in there to cap the Zerfallen's reload though. Speaking of which, the in-game demonstration, very good for large mobs of zombies, but you have to have time to reload it again afterwards. This video was actually shot before the Zerfallen was buffed to 14-second reload. It was 20 before that. So the performance will actually be slightly better than what you can see here. This is now showing the Mixmaster versus a Savage Devastator. My damage output isn't very high here, so I skipped the first half of the boss fight. On to Meltdown Cave. thought it would be a good place to try out the Zerfallen, which does in fact take care of the group very nicely, but it takes too long to reload because I've not finished maxing out the race modded or nimble. So it's actually more useful with another launcher at the moment, such as the Jagged Faust, which I was using in another game earlier. On to the boss fight, a mech pack. Funny thing about mechs, range damage doesn't have the nightmarish armor ignore, so you can basically tank mechs forever, which is good since being a tank heavy rather than damage heavy, it does take a bit longer to kill them. And one of those games I got a black key, so that's nice. That's everything I've got to show for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Good day all.